hype is leading to this. Porsche, BMW, Acura, Cadillac in the reborn GTP category.
The Rolex 24 is a twice around the clock, actual 24-hour straight race. You go green on Saturday afternoon, and 24 hours later, the checkered flag falls. And within that time, whoever goes the furthest, does the most laps, and arrives at that checkered flag first is the winner.
Daytona International Speedway, 1 week before the race.
Well, it looks sensational, doesn't it?
It's insane. Wow.
Tom Bloomquist puts Acura on pole.
What about Bloomquist? It will go to the top. Bloomquist with a 134 flag.
In a chaotic qualifying session that's red flagged when Porsche driver Nick Tandy suffers the first crash of the GTP car during an official timed lap. The pressure for perfection takes on new significance this year. With parts in short supply, even a minor mishap could sideline an entire team.
We've never come into a 24-hour ever with so little amount of spares.
Coming into practice week, Acura's quickest, with Porsche close behind. Cadillac is the most consistent, second only to Porsche in preseason test miles. BMW is the wild card, with the least time in development, but a highly experienced team.
Qualifying was okay. That's about what we expected. I don't know the numbers from the other OEMs or the other GTP teams, but we may have the biggest amount of mileage under the belt. The reliability obviously is key in a 24-hour race, and that could be our strength.
As race day closes in, crew members make final adjustments to the GTP cars.
You know, no one's really 100% confident. Brand new spare parts, still arriving. You know, probably just come from France or something. There's 24 hours of racing, and we haven't done 24 hours of continuous running yet with our car. And you know, that's the big thing, right? Is to finish first you have to finish.
Let's talk about this ARX-06 chassis, this crazy Formula One derived suspension up front and the back. You could look at an F1 car, look at the suspension on the front and the back and go, aha, this is exact ideology. And then in the middle is this motor meant to run an Indy car at about 12,000 RPMs. You then move over to, say, the Cadillac. That thing looks like it's ready to fight.
As far as changes to the car, we're basically out of time for that. We're just doing final systems checks, you know, making sure the car's legal from the technical inspection point of view.
With various engines and aerodynamic setups among hybrid GTP cars, ensuring fair fights on track is a new challenge for IMSA tech inspectors.
We scan sensitive areas of the car that we know are aerodynamically more important or priority over other areas. And we have a handheld wand that will effectively scan what we look at. It's really helping us ensure that the teams get a fair chance with every other competitor they're racing against.
IMSA has said, y'all come up with what you think is best, how you want the car to look, how you think it's going to perform the best, making downforce and such. We will then figure out how to make you all play nicely and in a somewhat level manner on track.
Looks like we're doing some pit stops.
Anything else you can think of that we need to do? I'll start jotting them down here.
The night before the race, after other teams have left pit lane, Porsche Penske crews are still practicing for the next day's pit stops. It's where the phrase, Penske perfect, comes from.
It looked good. Good job. Some more pit stop practice, right? It's always good. Nail it down right before the race.
Everybody happy? You want to do one more?
The excitement is obvious with the manufacturers here, with the fans here.
You know, racing has always been used as a test bed for manufacturers, and it's a new technology out there, and so that's why there's all this interest.
This seems to be a real platform for us to take sports car racing to the next level here in the United States.
The
This car has been soul-sucking. It's been a lot of it's been a lot of work for all the guys that work super hard.
What are you telling your guys to prevent carnage here in the first few hours?
It's 24 hours long, so anything can happen. And the whole idea is just not make mistakes.
You ready? Never. It's always exciting. That's why you do it.
That was the craziest packed grid walk I've ever seen.
Sorry guys, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Turn around after pushing the car to grid and just see a sea of people. It took me a good 30 minutes to make it a couple hundred feet to our trailer.
I'm probably as excited right now as I was at my first race.
All right, Bubba.
Ready, Bubba?
Yeah, man.
You ready?
Yep. All right, boys.
So right now, a lot of anticipation, a lot of cross fingers, and no butterflies yet, but they'll start soon.
It's all you, Bubba. You know what to do. Yeah. Good luck.
Well, here we are at the birth of a new era. This has been some 7 years in the making. And it all sees green right now here in Daytona. Let's go. We are racing.
There's lots of ways to play your hand. The strategies that are involved in auto racing is not always just about pace.
All you had to do was watch the first 5 laps to understand their clear instructions from the BMW team. We're going to run in tandem, we're going to run to a set pace.
My expectation was that everyone was going to kind of take that approach. So I was incredibly surprised to see Acura just saying, let's go full send.
There was nearly contact there, but that was very close.
It's like the first round of a boxing match. You want to kind of set the tone that you're going to be the dominant player.
The 60 is in front now. Oh, did you hear that electric launch? That is amazing.
Not too far into the race, we had a moment where the BMW went to the garage. The first thought of everybody had to be, is this the first of many, or is this a weird fluke?
It's not ready to go. You might have to do an MGU change, okay?
First one to have issues in GTP, that was the number 25 BMW.
We're changing everything.
Andy, there were so many human elements to this race that we would see play out, and really the first big one was BMW with that motor generator unit issue. It's not a component they make, it's a spec item.
If they fix that, and they fix that fast, they're still racing, even though now they're behind at the moment. They may have fixed something that everyone's going to have to deal with.
The battles on track escalate as every Acura, Porsche, and Cadillac GTP car takes its turn in the lead. And then, an ominous moment for Porsche.
A little bit of an issue with the engine actually stalling under brakes. He managed to get that refired.
Some teams, some manufacturers might have said, we're out, we're done. That's not the spirit of BMW. They charged into those repairs.
The Cadillacs came in, just fuel, clean the windshield. Cadillac comes in, fuel, clean the windshield. How long they were able to stretch these tires was fascinating. It's always a challenge of trying to make a tire last versus trying to make it perform better. These Michelin tires kind of hit that perfect balance.
What do you think, Matthew?
The rear tires are the main issue. I think it's the best it's ever been for us. But yeah, I mean, you just need to take care of the rear tires.
While drivers and pit crews work through the night, the infield buzzes with activity.
I've been coming since I was 5. This is my 4th year.
About 20 years now.
This is our 10th year.
It's my first time here.
What do you like about the event so far?
First, I love how you can go up basically right next to the track. Tailgating.
I like GTP. I like the introduction of the hybrid system, especially because I'm a Le Mans fan.
I have never seen more manufacturer flags flying in all the various campsites.
I like the Irish Shake Acura because I'm from Ohio originally.
Personally, I'm rooting for Cadillac, number 31, Whelen Engineering. Cadillac!
Cadillac cars sound great. The Porsches look great.
But while the infield rages, it's no party for Porsche as the number 7 car comes in with an electrical fault.
Do they know what went wrong?
They just said they got to change the battery. I think it's sort of one of those things where it's unclear.
We spoke about this and the potential for this to happen. The learning experience goes on. Testing's one thing, racing's another.
You know that at Penske, they practiced it. They probably identified a lot of potential weak links, and all that time at the shop, probably doing something that seemed monotonous and routine and repetitive, paid off.
And the car entered the garages to the time that it left, 24 minutes. It's ridiculous. Take a bow. Seriously, we got to take pride in all the men and women who are on these crews, who know what to do in an emergency. This might have been the finest example during this race.
And that was a new battery, new energy store.
And Hinch was saying that little piece there's $220,000 supposedly. To me, shows some of the uncertainty. That'll be a penalty as the mechanic recovers. Fronto's out on the inside, that's the 60. Oh, just closes the door on him. Spins around and then look to the right of your screen. There's the golden black Cadillac, just gets rear-ended. Here's another look at it. Boom. Look at that moment through the high-speed kick there on the infield. Tucked it to the inside. Couldn't keep it together. This is the 6 machine we're on board with. Not been the easiest day for the Porsche Penskes.
What do you think about them so far?
Can't say anything yet.
With new rules limiting tire allocation, team strategy will depend on tires lasting twice as long as in previous years. For Michelin technicians, first-hand feedback from drivers is crucial for fine-tuning race strategy.
It goes, it won't go.
So the front's overpowering the rear?
Gradually going down, it's just the end of it.
Just a dig.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
As the sun rises in the Florida sky, the final hours of the Rolex 24 begin to unfold. Cadillac settles into the lead, but with Acura back on the pace, holding them off will take every ounce of driver's skill.
I'm a little worried about the Porsche. Oh, really? They don't have a straight line too. Okay. And they're only a lap down if a yellow comes in. And they got their lap back.
Nobody's as fast as you guys are.
Emotions run high as this legendary endurance race becomes a sprint. Drivers push their cars harder, taking more chances, leaning on competitors to force mistakes. The battle intensifies. It's all or nothing now, until the checkered flag drops.
Between two cars identical in performance essentially. Oh, there's a touch!
The rivalry between Cadillac and Acura now at its apex. Each one turns up the heat heading into the race's final hour.
Oh, 0-2, Westy, right down to the inside, there's contact! Richard Westbrook in that blue and black
Cadillac GTP went for it.
I mean, he can't take it easy, bro. He's gonna go. I'm worried I'm gonna have a quick round here.
As the checkered flag drops, it's the number 60 Acura in the lead, with the number 10 Acura in second. In the end, their pace was too much for close rival Cadillac to overtake.
Blomqvist and Michelin Racing win the 2023 Rolex 24 at Daytona. And Spider-Man Elio Castro-Neves gets 3 in a row. Their teammates, Simon Pagenaud and Colin Brown, victorious here at the World Center of Racing. They defend their Rolex 24 crown.
For BMW, despite preseason challenges, and with an early visit to the garage, it's still a day for celebration, as the number 24 car comes in 6th, ahead of the favored Porsches.
I think we did more hours at this one race than we did throughout all of our testing combined. So that says a lot about all the work they did, and yeah, we'll try to come back at Sebring and fight harder.
Those Cadillacs were just marching. You couldn't stop them. They looked like they had victory in sight.
But they weren't the fastest. And what we've learned in modern times is even though we race for 24 hours, it's almost like a 24-hour sprint race because you need the speed.
It was a big gamble for Acura to turn that wick up like that, to go that fast, to press that hard. They were all in on the fact that they can go the fastest, and even though they didn't do a 24-hour test, they still lasted. This was their 24-hour test, and they passed with flying colors.
We cannot really lay the blame in any one direction here. This wasn't Porsche failing in any way. Some componentry that might not have played out, spec componentry that might not have been everything they'd hoped for in terms of reliability. This is just part of this remarkable story, Andy, where you say we did think Porsche, with all the miles, more than anybody, was just going to be the automatic one to put the bets on for this race. How strange was it, though, Bozy, to see that indeed the ones we had the highest expectations for had more problems than anyone would have anticipated. And you know, it started the moment the checkered flag waved. The Porsche Penske Motorsports Revenge Tour. No one will be sleeping between now and Sebring. They are going to be on a tear once we get to the 12 hours.
Good point. If there are no two organizations more militant than Porsche and Penske in their demand for success.
Nobody knew what they were going to get in the race, but they did know that they were a part of launching something very special.
This is the biggest evolutionary step to not just modern race cars, but future cars around the planet.
On the next episode of Win the Weekend, IMSA GTP takes on the Savage Airfield. It's the IMSA GTP test for the 12 hours of Sebring.